So fake Pokemon cards are getting harder and harder to spot. So instead of showing you bad fakes, I'm going to show you the real thing up close so you know exactly what details to look out for. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the illustration rares and special illustration rares from Twilight Masquerade. I'll be highlighting key details such as texture direction, shiny outlines and fall patterns so that you can compare your cards with confidence. I've added timestamps for every single card so you can jump straight to the one that you want and use this video as a reference guide. If you find this type of content useful, then hit the like button so I know to make more. The Pinsir is a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. The Sunfloras in this card are a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. Dipplin, the man and the brown squirrels are a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. In this card, Poltchageist and the boy are a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. The Torkoals and the man in this card are a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. This card is beautiful and quite complex, only parts of the Infernape are matte finish, however, the flames are hollow foil. Only the Froslass is in matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. The Phione is a matte finish, but also notice the Whale Lords in the background are also slightly matte finish as well. The rest of the card is hollow foil. In this card, only the Cramorant is a matte finish. The rest of the card is hollow foil, including its eyes. So both Heliolisks are a matte finish. Also notice the blades of grass are not reflective. The rest of the card is hollow foil. This card is a beauty. Only the Growlithe and Perrin's legs are a matte finish. The rest of the card is hollow foil. Right, so Wattrel and Friends are a matte finish. The rest of the card is hollow foil. Chimecho is a matte finish. The rest of the card is hollow foil. So the Enamorus is a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil, including its eyes. So this card is quite detailed. Here are the characters that are in a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. This card is also quite detailed. Here are the characters that are in a matte finish, the rest of the card is in hollow foil. Only Lairon is in a matte finish, the rest of the card is a hollow foil, including Lairon's eyes. This card can be quite hard to see. Notice the Applins are in a matte finish, the rest of the card is in hollow foil. Here, all the Tatsugiris are in a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. Now this is one of my favourites. Notice that all the Pokemons are in a matte finish, the rest of the card is hollow foil. Another one of my favourites. This card is very underrated. Notice that all the Eevees are in a matte finish. However, the rest of the card is hollow foil, including this Eevee's eyes. So this card has directional texture. Pay attention to the texture going in different directions and the green shiny outline around the Pokemon. Now with this card, pay attention to the directional texture, the diamond-shaped patterns, and the silver outline around the Pokemon's features. Magcargo is quite an interesting card. However, you need to pay attention to the directional texture, the shiny red stars, the diamond-shaped patterns, and the silver outlines around the Pokemon's features. With this Ogerpon, pay attention to the directional texture, the diamond-shaped patterns again, and the shiny silver outline around the Pokemon's features. With Palafin, notice the directional texture, the silver outline around the Pokemon's features. The Wellspring Mask Ogerpon has some really nice directional texture. Also, the texture doesn't reflect, and also notice that the silver outlines and details around the Pokemon's features. Luxray has some simple directional texture, but also notice the texture does not reflect a lot of light like the outlines around the Pokemon. So this card has directional texture. Notice that the textured parts do not shine, only the outlines around the Pokemon does. So this card has directional texture. The texture does not shine in light, however there is a shiny outline around the Pokemon. The eyes are also shiny as well. So the Greninja has directional texture, but notice that the texture does not shine in light, only the outlines around the Pokemon's features does. So this Ogerpon has directional texture. The textured parts do not shine like the outlines around the Pokemon's features. Also, notice that the fine shiny outlines in both eyes. Now this Dragapult has a lot of fine detail with the texture. The directions go everywhere. Blissey has a very simple directional texture pattern with shiny outlines around its features. So the Ursaluna has a very simple directional texture pattern with shiny outlines around its features. Caretaker is quite detailed. Notice that the background, eyebrows, beard and his clothes are textured. Notice that his arm, head are matte finished. His eyes are also very glossy. With Carmine, everything is directionally textured except her face and hands. With Hassel, everything is textured except his face and hands. Also notice there's two different tones of green on his coat. With Kieran, everything is textured except his hand, neck, face and eyes. With Lana, everything is textured except her face, eyes, neck, arms and foot. Lucian, everything is textured except his hand, neck, face and eyes. With Perrin, everything is textured except her face, eyes, neck, shoulders, hands, stomach, the white part of her clothes and camera lens. So this card has a lot of directional texture going on. However, the ladder on the right is a matte finish and the Pokemon's eyes have a shiny outline. So this Ogerpon card has a lot of directional texture going on. It also has two very tiny shiny reflective parts on it too. This card has a lot of directional texture and two very tiny shiny reflective parts. Under the light, the mask looks almost dull compared to the red and orange at the bottom. Besides the directional texture, also notice the shiny blue stars and the little shiny reflective eyes. Under the light, the two multicoloured things on its head looks really vibrant. This beauty has a lot of directional textures going on. Note that its eye is both glossy and reflective when you look at it from certain angles. Also check the font to make sure it's the same as this card, but mainly it's about the details in the texture. This card has directional texture, a big shiny star in its eye, and 2 tiny reflective eyes. Under the light, the whole mask stands out and looks pretty dull. The rest of the card is very reflective. This card has some nice simple directional texture. The red spot on its head stands out under light. Also, the pool of honey is also very vibrant under light as well. So this whole card is textured, but under light, the texture on Carmine and her food is more dull compared to the background. Also, her eyes are glossy and kind of evil looking at certain angles. So the directional texture, but note that Pikachu, Kieran and the 2 things that he's holding are dull and stand out. The background is more reflective in light. Kieran's eyes are also very glossy. So this whole card is textured, but notice that Lana and the 3 Pokemons are quite dull and they stand out. Lana's eyes are glossy, the background is more reflective in light. So this whole card is textured, except Perrin's eyes, watch and camera lens, which are glossy. She does stand out from the rest of the background, making her look darker and the background brighter. So this card has a lot of directional texture going on. Also notice the gold shiny outlines around the Pokemon's features. Under the light, the Pokemon stands out and the background looks more dull. This card has a nice simple directional texture. Also notice the gold shiny outlines around the Pokemon and its features. Under the light, the Pokemon stands out and the background seems more dull. Also notice the pink spot on its head is also textured, but it stands out more than the Pokemon itself. This card has some nice simple texture. The puffins and the red-green bits have a gold shiny outline. Under the light, the puffins and the green-red bits look very vibrant compared to the rest of the background. Now this card has quite a lot of detail in the directional texture, but watch out for the gold outlines around its features. The hammer almost looks matte and dull under light. Also notice where the star is, there are 2 colour tones, an almost dark purple and pink. So this card has some thick and thin, shiny gold outlines around its features. We've also got some directional texture. Under the light, the red looks very vibrant and the white almost looks matte, but is actually textured. So now you know the key details to look out for. Fakes will never fool you again. Keep this video saved for future reference. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. But before I go, I'm going to show you what's coming next.